Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Our host, Brian Duprey, is the world's most sought-after childcare coach, having helped tens of thousands of childcare owners from around the globe take their business to the next level. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, our host, Brian Duprey.
Hi, welcome to Childcare Genius Podcast. Brian Duprey here, and I got a guest co-host, Michael Braswell, Vice President of Coaching at Childcare Genius. How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing excellent. How are you doing?
Oh, fantastic. Today, you're excited. We're going to be talking a little bit of FTE, full-time equivalent.
Ready to share and learn.
Share and learn. Yeah, we have this new podcast series that we're doing every Friday. We're going to be releasing a training video and teaching you a little bit of something. It's just quick hacks, things to help your business improve. So today we decided to talk about FTE, which stands for full-time equivalent. And you may or may not know what this is, or you may or may not actually use this. We're just going to give you some tips and tools today. Michael, I've coached you for many years, and we always have used this term FTE. So how do you use it in your program?
Well, with ours, it was a good litmus test to basically, regardless of how many kids that we have enrolled, it was how many paying, spots are being occupied. So it was a good way for us to track revenue and also for us to be on the same page as far as when we're talking about how many students, because, in our coaching calls, you'd be like, where are you at this week? And we have to, come with an acceptable level to where we're talking about the same things. And so when we calculated ours, we had, 3 programs. We have full-time, we have part-time 2, and part-time 3. So the part-time 3 being Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and then the part-time 2 being Tuesday, Thursdays. We eliminated it for the infants and the 1-year-old rooms just because the demand was so high. So we kept those at full-time. But then we just, for the older rooms, well, we have spots. So it's like, okay, makes sense. Let's go ahead and take some part-timers. We ended up calculating it as, a full-time student is 1. And then we did a Monday, Wednesday, Friday as a 0.6, and then a Tuesday, Thursday as a 0.4. It may not be 100% accurate that way, but it's just for us, it made sense.
Right. And then when I came along, I showed you a different model in FTE, and that's the way most people do it. They do it based on occupancy. The child's occupying 3 spots of the day, 3 spots in the week, 3 days of the week, which is 60% of attendance. So I see how somebody would want to do 0.6. And then I see why somebody wants to do 0.4 for 2 days. So what I've introduced, and I was the first coach to introduce the revenue-based FTE model, and I think it's a lot better. And I'm going to explain a little bit how we use revenue-based FTE, and it's something we teach our students in the Childcare Genius University. So we're going to take an example here of, in that 3-day-a-week, 2-day-a-week model is the most popular format for part-time care. There's different models out there, but actually that's the one I've seen the most. So what you're using is very similar to what a lot of people use. But in this case example, let's take a revenue of $300 a week tuition, which is probably the national average right now, say for a 2.5-year-old child. So we're going to say $300 a week is what the tuition is. Let's just say, Michael, that the 3-day-a-week rate was $225 a week, which is very not off of what somebody would charge for a 3-day-a-week. And let's say they charge the 2-day-a-week $175. So we're just throwing hypotheticals. If you're listening at home, obviously, you're not on the treadmill, you could actually write this down. I would like you to actually write these numbers down and better yet, put your numbers in. So you can actually do this computation with us. So when you have only full-time children at your program, your enrollment is your FTE. There is no computation. It's just whatever you have enrolled, they're all paying full-time. That's your FTE. There's no other math necessary. That is it. But for those of us out there who know how to use part-time, who have part-time in our program, we have to find a way to even that number out. So in this revenue-based model, let's just say that if you have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday kid and a Tuesday, Thursday kid, and they're sharing a full-time spot. So they never duplicate. But you're collecting $225 for one kid, $175 for the other. If you do the math and add those together, it's $400. So you just collected more than what you're making on the full-time spot. You're like, oh, that's quite a bit more. And so it's actually 33% more. So you're making 400 for a $300 spot. Well, we need to capture that in our FTE. So how we do that is we divide the 225 by the full-time rate, by the part-time, by the full-time rate, and we come up with 0.75. So 225 divided by 300, 0.75. So we would assign a 0.75 FTE ratio number to that 3-day-a-week child. Well, 175 divided by 300 is 0.58. So you would take 0.75 plus 0.58, and if you add those two together, it's 1.33. So if your part-time spot, if you have 2 kids sharing that spot, it's worth the equivalent of 1.33 FTE, or 1.33 times what your full-time rate would be. And why is this important? I mean, they're just like, well, I don't really, I mean, if 1 or 1.33 doesn't make a difference. Yes. We need an apples to apples comparison, because I've had clients in the past say, Brian, I've lost children due to summer enrollment. I said, okay, let's look at the FTE. And it turns out that they can lose children net and still gain revenue, because they lose part-time kids, gain a couple full-time kids, and all of a sudden now they're net positive, where an FTE would catch that on my end as far as being a coach, that they just think, oh my God, I lost 10 kids. Well, let's look at the math. See how that makes sense, Michael? Any feedback on that?
Oh, no, I mean, exactly. Because I mean, I was kind of, blown away, because we've always tracked it that way. And I didn't even think about it to where, yeah, the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then that is adding up to 1.33. So it's actually more revenue for the week. So yeah. And,
2 part-time program probably are missing out. I mean, it's extra revenue there. Now, granted, the 3-2 model can be tricky, because sometimes you have more 3s than you do 2s. You could do drop-ins. You could do drop-in care on those 2 days, Tuesday, Thursday. You could do a 1 day here and a 1 day there and have them offset. There's different ways to do it. But using this revenue-based model, you have an apples to apples comparison. And let's do another calculation real quick here.
Mhm.
Let's stick to this. So how this averages out. So in most childcare programs, infants cost more than toddlers. Toddlers cost more than preschoolers. So the average child average tuition at a school is usually right around where your 2.5-year-old rate is. That's just national average. So if you pick out what we call junior preschool, I don't know what other people call them, or older toddlers, but whatever a 2.5-year-old child at your school is, their full-time rate is your constant average. So let's just say our average was $280 in this example. Now, every time your tuition, or every time your FTE goes up by 5 children, your revenue goes up by 280 times 5. That is a good way to look at it. See, most people, to figure out what their revenue is, they have to look at a P&L, which is a snapshot of the past. Using FTE, you can look at a prediction of the future by knowing that if you have children coming in the future and you have net gains, you'll net gain your FTE based on multiplying the constant average, which in this case is 280. It'll vary based on center, by the number of FTE fluctuations up or down. So it's a predictor of revenue for the future instead of having to look in the past. So I think center owners, if you're a numbers person, it's real easy to compute FTE. You can just do a simple spreadsheet, by classroom. You can do full and part-time. And no matter what model you use, as long as you divide your part-time rate divided by your full-time rate, you will get the percentage of the FTE that you can use, and just add all your FTEs up. You can take every child and do that, and then each week update it. We have a client that we're working with right now that she has her directors type it in each week, and it auto-populates to a spreadsheet automatically, and she doesn't have to do anything. The directors, it auto-populates. I'm not a tech nerd, but I do know you can get it to auto-populate into spreadsheets automatically, and that'll save you from having to create. You just got to create it one time and let the directors do all the work.
And Brian, in addition, there's also, with our childcare programs, whether it be Bright Wheel, ProCare, there is on certain dashboards you can set up that will actually calculate your FTEs for you, even on a weekly basis. And then that way, it's there on your dashboard. And just like you said, some people are keeping spreadsheets, but we have software that we pay for every month that why not utilize?
Yeah, and just make sure that whatever software you're using uses the revenue-based model. and you can double check it and make sure. And if it does, then yes, you definitely need to use that, because I think the revenue-based FTE model is the most accurate determinator of future revenue up and down. And it's a better snapshot of what your revenue is. And you got a chance, if you have an FTE, if you have a license capacity of 100 in your school, your FTE could be 110.
Yeah.
You could actually be over FTE, which means you're getting the revenue of an equivalent of 110 children, even though you have a license capacity for 100, by utilizing part-time properly. We're going to do another episode in the future about how to manipulate part-time and maybe different strategies on that. But for now, we're going to sign off on the full-time equivalent. If you would like a free coaching call with me to go over FTE and me help you calculate this, you have to be a center owner. That's right now, I only work with center owners. If you're a center owner, go to childcaregenius.com. Under the coaching tab, select that like a free coaching call, and I'll get on a call with you and I'll help you manipulate this. So this is Brian Duprey and Michael Braswell signing off from Child Care Genius. Visit us at childcaregenius.com/resources. We have a lot of tools and tips to help you. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Child Care Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your child care business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Child Care Genius community.